happy.
Exactly, because you hear so much at school, and then you kind of get addicted to it. That's so sweet. I remember getting to the sideline, I'm telling him, all I was thinking about, man, don't fall. Coach Meyer does such a great job of making sure all our goals, making sure all our focuses as a team are on the team. Not necessarily like, oh, let me prove someone wrong because someone had a bad comment about me on social media. I remember me and JT kind of having that talk like, hey, you know, clearly this battle is for the number 1 job now, not the number 2 job. And I just want to let you know, no matter what happens, our friendship comes first.
You're in school and you put out a tweet.
Yeah.
How does it go again? The first time you walked on that field, because she's such a beauty, Ohio Stadium.
Nothing like it.
There isn't. I mean, it's just this gorgeous stadium. So the first time then you walk on as a player, I mean, even for practice, were you awestruck or afraid?
It was like this is like, even though I wasn't playing, I wasn't starting, running out, just for the spring game, it was like, oh yeah, this is my moment. This is freaking my stadium. I'm gonna freaking rule this thing. So it was almost like I want to conquer this thing. Yeah. Not like, oh man, look at all these people. But I do remember me and Tyvis Powell, our first year, our first game, after the spring game. So we into the season now, and we talking like, yeah, the stadium big, it get pretty packed. So we warming up and things like that, and it's probably maybe 80,000 people in the stands by now, but there's still so many open seats. No, it's not that bad. Go in, 10 minutes later, we back on the field, get ready to run out, and it's packed, and you're like, oh my God, where am I? What is this? And you just running out. And then I remember getting to the sideline, I'm telling him, all I was thinking about, man, don't fall. I'm like, you're going to get trampled.
Yeah, in front of 100,000 people, right? 2014, you start the year, 3rd string. You got Braxton Miller, great athlete, right? I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm like, we've got Braxton Miller. This is going to be our year. Braxton goes down, right? Then you're like, oh, well, we got JT. I mean, JT's awesome. Yeah. JT goes down at like the most crucial time, right? Because here it is. Cardale, you come in, you step up. Wisconsin, 59-0. Beat number 1 Alabama. Like, you think like they almost seem like they were going to be unbeatable. You beat them. Then you go on to be the Oregon Ducks, win the national championship. I mean, when Urban Meyer said, Cardale, you're up, are you freaked out or are you pumped up?
I was kind of pumped up, but it was towards the end of the game. I always kind of stayed loose. And, I mean, it was right after halftime. I think it was 3rd quarter when I finally get in when JT goes down. And I'm like, okay, well, we got this game. I don't think I'm going to play, which is whatever, as long as we won. So I don't warm up. Like, during the defense is playing, I always stay warm, you never know. So when he goes down, we realized he wasn't getting back up. I'm like, I had to rush to freak out because I'm like, oh, I haven't been warmed up. Give me a ball, somebody give me a ball. Yeah. And me and my coach always joke about it, Tom Herman, who was the head coach of Texas now, because my first pass of the Michigan game, it went somewhere crazy. I was just like, God, I should have warmed up. I'm like, they're not going to let me throw the ball again after that. but no, I think I was pretty excited to finally have an opportunity to play. And then it was in a critical situation. But it was a bittersweet because I knew, JT was one of them guys that it's going to be hard to keep him out. I mean, he played with like a pinched nerve or something major was wrong with his knee in a Penn State game, and he finished it earlier that year. Mm-hmm. And we finished it on his back. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, hard runs, in overtime versus Penn State that year. So I knew it was something serious for him not to be back in the game. So it was like, God, that sucked. That's my buddy. That's our leader. That's our captain. But we can't do well on that. We got to finish this here.
This is a true story. So I'm at Playhouse Square backstage after a concert. A friend of mine was performing, and I'm talking to the security guards backstage. We're all Ohio State fans, all talking about what we think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And going through the quarterback situation. And And this security guard said to me, let me tell you something, little miss. We knew when Cardale went in, we were going to win. We knew we were going to win a national championship with him because he'd followed you at Glenville High School. Yeah. And followed you working for Ted, or playing for Ted Ginn, working for Ted Ginn. It made have been like work. Yeah. So, are you someone who steps up and does better when there are doubters, or when people doubt you? Do you feel any kind of fear?
I think definitely in that situation, it was like proven to myself at that point, not to anyone else. I mean, Coach Meyer does such a great job of making sure all our goals, making sure all our focuses as a team are on the team, not necessarily like, oh, let me prove someone wrong because someone had a bad comment about me on social media or something like that. Yeah. So it was, to me, like, okay, do I feel like I should have been a starter my whole career? Yeah, because I'm a competitor, but I understand I wasn't. The guys were better than me at certain points at certain times. So it was like, let me prove to myself that I can do this. Yeah. Let me prove to my teammates they can, count on me.
What's your relationship like with JT?
It's, it's uncomparable to anyone I have with any other former teammate. I think what really made us really close, we went through a lot of the same things, at the same age, so his first year there, me and him was 3 and 4 because we had Braxton and Kenny Guyton, so me and him went through a lot of the same growing pains with running a scout team offense. Coach Meyer constantly on us because he knew, me or him was going to be the next guys after, Braxton and Kenny was gone. So he always wanted to make sure, Coach Meyer always wanted to make sure we had 2 good quarterbacks, ready to play.
Yeah.
So we went through a lot of the same growing pains, and then Braxton goes down, and I remember me and JT kind of having that talk, like, hey, clearly this battle is for the number 1 job now, not the number 2 job, and I just want to let you know, no matter what happens, our friendship comes first. So it was a situation, and I think that helped a lot because it helped us to push each other. It helped. If he knew I was pushing him, in a way, it was because I wanted the best from him,
That's such an interesting dynamic in relationship, to be so close, but also to be put in a situation where you're competing against each other.
Yeah, it is, because only one quarterback plays. So
right, and so you want to be the one playing, but you also want to champion your friend, right?
Yeah, you want to be the one playing, but also you want what's best for him as well.
You have this stellar, incredible 2014 year. It was like heaven. It was like a dream. It was magical in every way. And people thought, he's probably just going to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
So then there's that whole to-do, right? Of your announcement. I remember I was in Florida and I was watching it with my parents on television. And you said basically hey, I don't know what the big deal is all about and why you showed up because I'm staying in school.
Yeah.
Did you already know that decision right away, or did you have to think about it for a while about whether or not you wanted to enter the draft?
What's funny, I didn't have really time to think about it. We played the national title game, and I remember getting asked that question right up on a podium, right after the game or the next day or something. And I'm like, wait, what? What are you, NFL? Right now? I'm like, I played, majority of my games I played in mop-up duty, having fun. And then, I played 3 good games, but I think we as a team played 3 good games, not just, as an offense, I was a quarterback. So, a lot of the praise that I'm getting is, it's kind of false. I didn't play that great. I think we played good as a team, but I only had, I think, 3 days to decide. Looking back on everything, if I would have had more time, maybe I'd have weighed out things a little differently. Mm-hmm. But, definitely going into that season, definitely going into, them 3 games and things like that, I never even thought about, hey, after this, I can potentially go to the NFL. I know for sure, no matter what, if I left that year, the following year, stayed for my 5th year, no matter what, I wanted to finish school. Social
media is amazing because it can be a great thing and a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right? As you know.
Exactly.
Right? Which, by the way, I love that we'll just touch on it really quickly because you're in school and you put out a tweet.
Yeah.
How does it go again?
Something about like, golly,
We're not here to play school.
Basically, yeah.
Basically,
why should we have to go to class? We came here to play football. We're not here to play school. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Then you get crucified for it.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, if I can interject. If we all had to be held accountable for everything that we said and wrote when we were freshmen in college, or like, what is that, like 18 years old or something, we would all be a little bit embarrassed and we'd want takebacks, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
so let's just say that, like, you're young and whatever. Sometimes we say and do things impulsively, and now you just happen to live in a day and age where it lives forever.
Exactly.
So that happens, and then, you know, you've got to kind of try to take it back and take a step back. But you've had good takeaways from it. Like, one, you're able to sort of poke fun at yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think, you know, me taking that bullet for all the student athletes coming behind me, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't raised, or I honestly never thought at that point, you know, school is a joke. You know, a lot of people don't realize. Actually, probably no one realized, but my coaches, who, yeah, they were pretty pissed at me because I didn't understand the magnitude of my position. You know, I was third, fourth string quarterback this time. Guaranteed wasn't going to play. You know, but the simple fact of having an Ohio State behind my name is going to make you a little bit bigger than the average person. So they were kind of pissed at me that I didn't understand, you know, the worth of just being on the team. But they didn't look at me like, oh, this kid takes school as a joke, because, you know, a lot of people don't know I made that tweet because I was pissed that I got a B+ on a sociology exam. You know, I thought
You wanted an A.
Yeah, I thought you got an A. So I was pretty pissed.
But that's where it was coming from.
Yeah, it was right. I got the exam. I'm like, what? This is crazy. I spent all these hours studying. But, you know, I guess, like, now we can use as an example what not to say on social media. So,
yeah, right. You can teach a class now, just based on that one tweet alone. What's the greatest lesson you learned from Ted Ginn, who is known to be an amazing coach, and the greatest lesson you learned from Urban Meyer?
I think from Coach Ginn, the greatest lesson I learned was basically living in the moment. You know, not thinking so far down into the role. And I think with Coach Meyer is basically, no matter what, is always a competition. Always compete. You got to beat yourself. You got to compete with yourself. How about this? Keep closing the gap. Don't let them beat you by 4 yards next time. Try, make sure he beats you by 3 or something like that. So keep closing the gap and keep competing within yourself. And that's how I think about literally every situation now. Like, I'm not going against the guy next to me or in front of me. I'm going against myself.